Point is back again, undefeated and #1, and hoping to ride the crest of their success. The Unidome in Cedar Falls, Iowa. Iowa Public Television Sports presents the Boys High School Football Championships. It's Class 1A Championship football between Maurice, Orange City, the Dutchman, and the Pointers from Center Point. Hello again, I'm Mike Newell, and along with Pat Clark and Larry Morgan, we'll have the play-by-play report of our second of 5 presentations live on Iowa Public Television this Friday and again tomorrow. Well, I tell you, 4 overtimes, Peyton Jourdan wins it, the Class A championship over a rugged Sanborn team. Going to see more of the same here in the 1A championship. 2 ball clubs don't give up a lot of points, but they score a whole lot.
They score a whole lot, and they do it on the ground, especially Center Point. Folks, Center Point has been ranked #1 since the season began. The Pointers are an excellent football team. They are going to be tough to beat today.
Indeed they are. Gordy McKinstry is the head coach for the Dutchmen. Ted Rogers for the Pointers. Let's talk about some of the talent.
We'll talk about the Dutchmen first. They come in with a 10-1 mark, folks. They lost their opening game of the season, but they've got a couple of kids named DeHaan, Brent and Craig. They do a lot of the dirty work. Craig is the quarterback of this team. Take a look at his passing yardage and Brent's rushing yards.
Here's a guy, he's one of the reasons that not many people score a lot of points on the Dutch.
Vanderstoep is the young man's name. 111 tackles this year. He's averaging 10 stops a game. That's fantastic.
A heartbreaking loss last year for Center Point in the 1A championship game against Pocahontas. Ted Rogers has his team back again.
15-6 was the final last year, and I guarantee you they want this one badly. They've got a couple kids in the backfield who have been doing all of the dirty work for them for about 3 years now. Young man by the name of Chris Wall. He is the leading rusher this year, although he's the second leading career rusher at Center Point, 2,096 yards.
But he's not the only guy who can carry the ball for the Pointers. Here's another one, Kenny Jones.
Kenny Jones has about 1,093 yards rushing this year, 23.77 for his career. Those fellows will run with the ball today in their semifinal win. Center Point did not put the ball in the air once.
Well, it's going to be a great ball game. It's going to be Maurice, Orange City, and Center Point going after the Class 1A championship. And that's next on Iowa Public Television.
From the banks of the Mississippi River in Davenport, Iowa, Bix lives. This week, the New Memphis Nighthawks. The 14th annual Bix Beiderbecke Memorial Jazz Festival. Bix lives, Friday nights at 10:30.
The 1A championship game, game 2 of our 5-game run live here on Iowa Public Television. Today and again tomorrow, Maurice, Orange City at 10-1 up against Center Point 11-0. We're going to go downstairs now as we'll get things underway with the ceremonial coin flip. It's Peter Hansen of Spencer. In the white hat, he is the referee, and he is on mic during this one. You see the Center Point Pointers coming out, and here now are the Dutchmen from Maurice, Orange City, and we'll pick it up right here.
Okay, captains, this is Captain Schoblin, Captain Cook, Captain DeHaan, and Captain Schmitz. Fellas, want to shake hands? Okay, the coin toss has been called heads. You've won, and you'd like to receive. Okay, and you want to defend which goal, sir? Okay, turn around that way. Turn around this way, men. Okay. Let's have a good game, fellas. Good luck to both of you.
There you have it. And we're just about set to get things underway. The refereeing crew in this one from Spencer, Iowa, Peter Hansen. We mentioned the referee, Arthur Johnson, the line judge. Alan Masters, the umpire. The linesman is Wayne Westhoff. The road to state for the Dutchman, beating Kingsley Pearson, Britt and Manning down the tournament trail. And the Pointers, who are making a repeat performance after losing to Pocahontas last year, come on to try to rack up the 1A title for the second straight year. Pat, you mentioned it was a 15-6 defeat, and you got to think they want to make up for it right here.
Absolutely, and there was really no doubt in anyone's mind what kind of talent Center Point had coming into this season. Randy Peterson ranked them #1 in preseason in the Class 1A poll, and they have been there all season long. No one has really touched Center Point at all this year. In fact, only a couple of times as a team scored 8 points. 8 points, the most that any team has scored against Center Point this year.
Deep to receive for Center Point will be Kenny Jones. He wears number 30. Chris Wall is number 89, and up short with him is Mark Wade. This is Brent Dalma, who tees it up at the 40. And the 1A title goes on the line right here. A good kick. And to the wide side at the 5-yard line. That will be the heavy ground gainer, Kenny Jones, who brings it out to the 24-yard line. And this one is underway as Kurt Nutton makes the stop, and the Pointers are underway right here. A look at the Center Point offensive alignment. Bob Mullins is the quarterback. Jones and Wall, keep your eye on them. And along the front line as well. Over the ball for Center Point, Bob Mullins, 5'11" senior. To right in front of us, the Pointers with Dan Bruxvoort making the stop for Morris Orange City. Defensively for the Dutch, Bruxvoort, you see, wearing number 72, along with Vandersal, Smits, and Olsen, and behind them the linebackers, and defensively the deep corners, then the safeties. Pickup was 3, 2nd and 7. A good hole and short of the first down, but it's going to be close. That was Kenny Jones. Craig DeHaan making the stop once again. So you look on the far sideline for Morris Orange City. You're looking at Coach Gordon McKinstry, and a name of some fame in that neck of the woods.
Absolutely, and there's the man, Ted Rogers, the Upper Iowa graduate. What a coach he is, and a great fella, too. You're going to see the wishbone out of Center Point today, folks, and that is all you're going to see out of him. And you're going to have to get used to hearing Mr. Newell say Jones and Wall quite a bit.
Jones wearing number 30, and Wall wears number 89. It was enough for the first down, and this one will go to Jones as he belts out past the 40-yard line to pick up a 6.5, maybe 7. And he was stopped by Kurt Nutton.
That's how they got there.
Yep. And along the way, they gave up a few points, but they're a team that doesn't give up many. But they're going to score a lot. They give up 6.3 points per game. Center Point scoring 40.7. Again into the line for the wishbone on a 2nd and 3. And Kurt Nutton make sure he gets no more. That was Kenny Jones. He works from the left side in that wishbone formation. And Chris Wall, wearing number 89, goes to the right side. And those are the numbers on Morris Orange City, beating Kingsley Pearson, Britt and Manning.
Really no doubt about it along the way.
And Morris Orange City doesn't give up many points, just 4.2 per game, scoring 34.6. Enough for the first down. Out of the wishbone. Oh, you remember that Center Point Pocahontas game of last year? What an exciting ball game. And these are perhaps the two most evenly matched ball clubs in the entire tournament field.
Here you can see Bob Mullins' numbers, 24 completions and 52 attempts for only 520 yards. Not staggering statistics, but here's a team that just doesn't put it up much.
From the wishbone again, the up man is fullback John Smith. On the counter, breaking loose is Kenny Jones. And Craig DeHaan again. DeHaan gets his 3rd tackle in this ball game, but on the move, Center Point.
1,048 yards this year for Kenny Jones. He was the leading rusher last year and is the all-time leading rusher at center point.
Once again, Wallace to the right. He wears 89. Jones to the left in that wishbone formation. He wears number 30. Second and 10. Trying to turn the corner is Wall to the 50. He picks up 3.5, maybe 4. Shane Seagee makes the stop.
This time it's on the pitch. No straight handoff. Wall out to the near side. Looks like he's down there. Steps away from it. Finally is brought down by 2 or 3 Dutchmen. Actually, it took about 4 of them to finally bring him down. Chris Wall's a tough kid.
Just underway with the 1A championship game. The Pointers from center point, unbeaten, 11-0, up against Morris Orange City. And up the middle. And that's going to be close for the first down. That time it's John Smith. 5'9", 190-pound junior. Craig DeHaan again makes the stop.
Just when you start keying on Wall and Jones, they give it to this fella right up the middle, and he'll power for a few yards for you. Nothing fancy about this kid's running style. He just runs over you.
Boy, what a great ball game we had in the opener in our 5-game run, the Class A title game.
I noticed.
Peyton Sheridan in 4 overtimes, 20-14 over Sanborn.
I know how uptight you get during some of those games, Michael. It looks like you picked up a few gray hairs during that.
A few more. And it is indeed a first down. 3rd in this series for the Pointers.
See, Gordy McKinstry, the Dutchman coach, is no dummy. He knows what he's got to do to stop center point. There he is, right there. Gordy knows that he has to make center point, or he has to get his fellas to make center point throw the football. That's something they don't do. They're going to kill him on the ground.
Line of scrimmage, the 43. Kenny Jones to the 40-yard line, a pickup of 3, and it's 2nd down. Center point out of the Tri-Rivers Conference. Went 8-0 in conference play. Shane Seagee making the stop. Boy, some impressive numbers for Kenny Jones. 2nd down. Mullins over the ball, and he goes to Jones again, who trips his way inside the 40 and makes something out of nothing, picking up 2 yards before Travis Smits makes the stop on him. Line of scrimmage will be the 39-yard line. 3rd down along 5. Mullins is a senior, 5'11" and 140. That'll be Jones around left end. And in pursuit is the Dutchman, with Brent DeHaan making the stop.
We don't want you folks to be confused. Let's take a look at a little isolation here. Look at the movement, the lateral movement, going with the play, and at least get a hand in on the tackle. As I started to say, we don't want you folks to be confused about the scoring. You saw numbers on Wall and Jones said each had 0 touchdowns. We just didn't have the figures on them when we put them in. Jones has 116 points this year, Wall 94, so those guys punch it on in there.
Steve Kramer will release from about the 46-yard line. It's a short one. 35 or the 25 to 27-yard line, and
that might be about a 10-yard punt, huh?
And now the Dutch will take over for their first possession. Let's take a look at it.
Keep in mind, folks, center point doesn't have to punt the ball much. They have very little practice at that because they simply don't have to. This was a bad punt. He shanked it.
So we'll go the other way, right to left, with the Dutchman. Craig DeHaan over the ball. 1st and 10. Battles his way back to the line of scrimmage. In his backfield, Brent DeHaan, Kurt Netton, and Dean DeYager. You see the running backs. DeYager is the flanker along with Dalma and Brandt. Working the wideout positions, Boone, Bohr, Vandersall, Bruxford, and Smits on the front line. Double wide right. Yeager and Dalma. Into the line, and tripped up there is Paul Nazy. Rick O'Brien. Take a look at the pointers defensively up front. Keep an eye on Bill Neiman. He's a tough one. Hacker, Kramer, Wall, Wade, Jones, Chapman, and Mann. 4:40 remaining, first quarter play. First possession for the Dutchman. DeHaan, the quarterback. Works from the pro set. Sweeping wide. Brent DeHaan. Good pursuit, center point. Chris Wall in particular. And now deep to receive in the front. Your center point will be Kenny Jones and Chris Wall. Handling all the kicking chores for Morris Orange City. In their white with purple trim is Brent Dalma. Release from the 18 or 19-yard line. Good kick. It's Jones at the 33. Picks up about 5, and now second possession for center point here in the first quarter. Chad Boone is credited with the stop. Those are the numbers, and we're just underway.
Ted Rogers calls this center point team a group of special kids. Interesting stories about him that he told me throughout the week, and I saw during the season watching center point play, and we'll be able to share some with you. Very intelligent group of kids down there.
Mullins over the ball. First and 10 from the 39. Counter play, and this time it goes to Chris Wall past the 40 to the 43-yard line. He picks up 4 before Brent DeHaan stops in. There's Ted Rogers.
Ted Rogers. All 6 of center point's playoff teams. Ted also started the football program at Cedar Valley. Was also a coach at Nesco of Zeering.
Second down. The call goes to Chris Wall once again. Look at the Dutchman, and Pat, I want to point this out. They don't wear wooden shoes out there for the Morris Orange City Ball Club, nor do they plant tulips at midfield. Just wanted to straighten that out for you.
Bring that around to Wall. Just he powers ahead too. This is one of about half a dozen kids that Ted Rogers thinks will play college football. At least he knows they have the talent. He thinks most can play Division III of the 6, but he thinks that if there is one that could go a little bit better, it's Chris Wall.
Third, less than a yard. Chris Wall to the 50-yard line, enough for the first down. Might also point out that our cameraman upstairs here, Lance Vogel, is from Morris Orange City, so if you hear him cheering in the background, you know why.
Little ISO on Chris Wall, needed just a yard. He says, I'm going to get it and then some. Could have been stopped at the line of scrimmage, but he said,
Dan Bruxford gets in his way, so right on top of the midfield stripe. It's first and 10.
No wooden shoes, come on.
Here's the southpaw going deep. Got his man. Brad Wade from his split end position finally is collared by Craig DeHaan. And the pickup is 43 yards.
Take a look again. Here's a team that does not throw the football. Watch Mullins. Just like a left-handed Chuck Long, right? Found his man. Nice gain on the play. And that's one of the advantages you have when you've got a team that runs with the football all the time. That is all that Orange City is expecting. They go up top, no doubt about it. Straight drop back, finds his man. He's wide open. There's no one back there in the secondary. And all of a sudden, center point is threatening.
Well, once again, there's that running game establishing the passing game, and that's exactly what we see as the ball is spotted on the 7-yard line. The pickup is 43 yards, first and goal. And knocking on the door is Center Point. While we're here in Cedar Falls, bringing you live action of the high school football championships, another Iowa Public Television crew is in Ames taping the All-State Music Festival. This annual extravaganza featuring the best high school musicians in our state will be shown on Thanksgiving night at 6:30 and repeated on Friday, November 29th at 2 o'clock. Make your holiday a bit brighter by joining Iowa Public Television. It's on Thanksgiving, the All-State Music Festival.
I'll be tuned in.
Well, what are we going to do here? What's Rogers going to call for? He's going to go with his bread and butter, you'd think, for a couple plays, but maybe he'll go to the bag of tricks and put it in the air again, huh?
Well, there won't be any fly patterns. I can guarantee you that. But you never know with Ted Rogers. They are a team that basically stays on the ground. We said it before. They didn't throw once in their semifinal win.
So the Dutchmen are put to the test. First and goal from the 7. Jones to the 1-yard line. Boy, he gets through that hole in a hurry, doesn't he?
Kenny Jones is one of these rare performers who can run over you and run around you, too. This time he decides to just go forward. Kind of reminds me of a young man by the name of Phil Forbes, who runs for Lone Tree. They were in the state finals last year. A kid with an abundance of talent. Jones is just the same kind.
Second down. Jones pops it up. And we'll wait for him to unstack. You know, we saw that. Whoop. You see from the body language that the Dutchman will take it over at the 2-yard line. The fumble.
He never really had this one, Michael. Never really had control. Another angle, you'll be able to see it. Just turns right around. Wasn't a broken play or anything. Kenny just didn't find a handle on it. And you saw in the first game, mistakes and stuff, that can cost you a game. But we're still very early in this one.
Second possession for the Dutchman. Whoa, a big hole opens up for Brent DeHaan, and he belts it out to the 11-yard line. The line of scrimmage was the 2. And it'll be second and less than 1.
Should make the point now that Brent DeHaan and Craig are cousins, not brothers. But Brent does come from a football family. In fact, he has a brother who plays at Northwestern College, and I think they have somewhat of a good football program up there.
Yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
They win a couple every now and then, don't they?
Only ranked number 1 in NAIA.
DeHaan again. All the way out to the 35-yard line. 24 yards is the carry. Craig DeHaan hands it off to Brent DeHaan. And taking a page out of the playbook at Center Point, the ground game now for the Dutchman.
I talked with Gordy McKinstry. He said, we're always going to have good field position. He said, if we don't start out with it, we will create it. There it is, right there, folks.
Mention again that Maurice of Orange City is averaging 34.6 points per game, but giving up just 4.2 points per game. Second in the state. Boy, they racked up a string of shutouts. They lost, the Dutchmen did, their first game of the season to Sheldon, 16-6. But then a shutout over West Lyon, a shutout over George, a shutout over Central Lyon, a shutout over Rock Valley. Right now, we're going to head downstairs, and here's Larry Morgan.
Mike and Pat, the thing that's been impressive thus far is the play in the trenches, and from our vantage point on the sideline, we see that real well. For the early part of the ballgame, Center Point was just completely blowing Morris Orange City off the line, and now this last series, that's really turned around. But both teams are doing some outstanding playing along the offensive line. So let's watch for that as we get into the final moments of this first quarter. Let's go back upstairs.
Thank you, Larry. 21 seconds remain in the first. And with the ball at the 35-yard line, a couple bursts up the middle for Brent DeHaan.
You know, you talked about the four straight shutouts for Maurice Orange City there, Michael. And then in the next game that they played after the fourth shutout, they defeated Sioux Center 17-6. One thing you might want to keep in mind, Sioux Center is a 2A school.
Yep. First and 10. Double wide right. At the last moment, he gets it off to Kurt Netton. Oh, he didn't have much time to release, but he gets away with it. DeHaan to Netton.
Good instincts here by Mr. DeHaan. Look at him. Just at the last second before he goes down, gets the pitch out. The man turns it up as the quarter ends. He's finally brought down by number 24, Mark Wade.
And that flatten out is just good quarterbacking, and you'd think Gordy McKinstry's got a little bit of that in his blood. 0-0 is the ball game. It is the 1A championship game. Maurice Orange City, the Dutchman, against the Pointers from Center Point.
Each year in the developing world, 15 million children die before the age of 5, not from exotic illnesses, but from common, preventable diseases. Now a simple strategy to save those children is being put to the test. If this strategy succeeds, how will it affect a world faced with skyrocketing population growth? Child Survival, The Silent Emergency, narrated by Richard Kiley. Next time on Nova.
Watch Saturday evening at 7 o'clock.
In a tropical rainforest, only two things count, eating and reproducing. And they only count if you don't get eaten yourself. The creatures of the great Central American rainforest that covers parts of Belize, Costa Rica, and Panama live in a kind of violent harmony that's perfectly balanced and perfectly brutal. One prey's predator is another predator's prey. It's the law of the jungle. Selva Verde, the green jungle, next time on Nature.
That's Sunday evening at 8 on Iowa Public Television.
Well, another 12 minutes go up on the board, and we open up quarter number 2 in a 0-0 ball game. Just like our first one this afternoon, and Peyton Jourdan won that 20-14 at 4 overtime. Right now, DeHaan and low, a little bit long. Dalma, the intended receiver. You want to talk quarterbacking? McKinstry is in the right business. There's a shot of Lee. His son, Lee, and his son, Jay, quarterbacking nationally ranked Northwestern College of Orange City. Third and 4. Line of scrimmage, the 41. Craig DeHaan trying to scramble away from heavy traffic and loses a couple. And fourth down will cause the punting unit to come on, and Dalma will get another chance to unload here. He's a pretty talented kicker, Dalma. Deep to receive. Here's a shot of Dalma. Wall. And alongside him, Jones. From the 28-yard line, that's Chris Wall. Past the 35 and right to left in front of us, the Pointers. Corey Brandt makes the stop. Yeah, you just don't get here if you give up a lot of points, Pat Clark.
Exactly
and we've
right.
seen the state's very best defensive squads, but here in front of us, two of the finest offensive teams as well. Mullen over the ball. Pitch back to Jones. And we're going to have a penalty right. Well, back upfield a bit. He brings it out to the 46-yard line. A gain of 10 yards and the penalty. Leon Brink brings him down. Take a look at number 35 to come in your screen in just a moment. He's whistled on the penalty.
You're going to see a nice play by Kenny Jones. We're looking for a clip. Is that right?
Right there.
There you go. It's still a pretty run to look at anyway. Kenny Jones, let me tell you something. In Center Point's first round win over BCL, that was 38-6 was the final. We're talking about the playoffs. Jones had 3 TDs, 191 yards.
Black shirts.
191 yards is what I started to say. But there goes that yellow flag again. That hampered both teams in that Class A championship game. Let's hope we don't have the same thing happen here in the second one.
Instead of 1st and 10 from the 46, it is 1st and 25 from the 21. And getting some of all of that back. Up the middle will be Chris Wall. Leon Brink again making the stop. And it will be, after a gain of a little better than 9 yards, it'll be 2nd and 15. The shot of Chris Wall. Now Kenny Jones. Shane Seege is there to greet him. Just underway in the second quarter, and it's scoreless. 1A championship game. Center Point into this one with a #1 rating and 11-0. And Maurice of Orange City at 10-1.
Gordy McKinstry will tell you that his defense is the strong point of their team. Basically run out of a 4-3. They'll shift every once in a while.
From the wishbone, it's Jones. 3rd down. And 14, and he picks up the 14. Well, it's going to be, no, he's going to be about a yard short. I thought he fell forward fur enough, but he didn't.
Craig DeHaan made the stop, or else he would have had that 1st down and probably quite a bit more. Kenny Jones is just a fun kid to watch. What can you say about him?
4th and 1. 8:55 remains in the half. And kicking it away will be Steve Kramer, who will release from the 35. Line drive. From the 20-yard line and out to the 26-yard line is quarterback Craig DeHaan. And he'll direct the effort right here.
You see the numbers on that young man? 13 punts this year. Goodness gracious. That's just a little bit over 1 a game. How many teams can brag about that?
Rick O'Brien makes the tackle for Center Point. Indication from Peter Hansen.
I think that Center Point's going to get the ball back here.
Indeed they will. Procedure was the call. And it's enough for the 1st down. So instead of turning over the ball on downs, forcing them to kick it away, they get a 1st down out of it. To the midfield stripe.
Ready? 1st down.
Well done. Well played.
We got sauce, let's go.
8:30 remains. And here's Bob Mullen. From the wishbone, 1st and 10. Going upstairs. Little bit long. Let's take a look at it.
That kind of reminds me of one that they completed for about 43 yards there. Mr. Mullins just overthrew his man a little bit, couldn't get the man there. You know, one of the interesting things about Ted Rogers and his philosophy is he's not a fancy guy. He wants to keep things simple and do a few things well. Mr. Newell, I'd say that he has done a few things well.
That's right. You got that right. 2nd down. Quick opener. And Kenny Jones takes it inside the 45, a pickup of 6. How many times this season has he thrown on 1st down? Probably never. Brent DeHaan makes the stop on Ken Jones, and it'll be 3rd and 3.5.
that young man doesn't play college ball somewhere, it's going to be a crime.
Well, we saw it in the first game. That's right out of the playbook. Stutter that count at the line and try to get the first down the easy way. And that indeed the Pointers did.
Oh, a little movement there. That was almost like a dance step, wasn't it?
We got a dead ball foul. Encroachment on White. Their first down. Encroachment on White. Hold it up, we got timeout.
Oh, it's a second
We got
first.
timeout, White.
It's a timeout right here, but that's a second penalty that is brought on a first down in this drive for Center Point, and that could be the tail of the tape down the stretch run. As Iowa high schools and colleges wind up their football seasons, another popular sport will step into the spotlight on Iowa Public Television. College wrestling, featuring teams from Iowa, Iowa State, UNI, and Drake will be featured during our 10th anniversary coverage. Broadcasts begin in January, and viewers will not only see all the action, but will also be treated to features about past champions. In March, we'll return to Veterans Auditorium in Des Moines for the 15th year to bring Iowans all the excitement of the boys' high school wrestling tournament. That'll be all live. College and high school wrestling, annual traditions at Iowa Public Television, and truly television worth watching.
College wrestling. Think the Hawkeyes are going to do it again this year? By golly, they got the national championships right down at the old Carver Hawkeye this year.
Another championship defense goes on the line in Iowa City.
What are they looking for? 9 straight? Is that what it is? Something like
Yep.
that? Well, Dan Gable's going to get tired of this. Nah.
No, I doubt it. We're not talking about the same Dan Gable. 39-yard line. First and 10. This time, the Dutchman had it all figured out on Kenny Jones as he tried to turn the corner. Travis Smits.
One of the few times you'll see the offensive line of Center Point collapse here. They just lost it. Number 52 came right over his man, Travis Smits, and he was on top of Mr. Jones in no time.
Smits measuring in at 6'2" and 225. Just about shoved the guy blocking him right into the path of Kenny Jones. He didn't have to. He got to him ahead of time. 7 minutes remain in the half. And a second fumble in this ball game. The first turned it over right along the goal line and out. Yep, there's your second turnover right there. Fumble recovery. The Dutch are hitting them hard.
I believe that was Mr. Jones again, fumbling the football. Let's see if we can pick it up here. Well, he lost it somewhere in the shuffle there, didn't he?
And everybody going after it. First and 10. The line of scrimmage is the 42. Craig DeHaan over the ball. First man through is Brent DeHaan. Brad Wade.
Well, there you see it. That tells the story. Center Point is its own worst enemy at this point of the ball game. Morris was trying to hand him a touchdown there, it seemed like, for a while, with a couple of penalties that brought on first downs, but they fumbled the ball away again.
Wide to the left side. Dan DeYager. Looking for DeYager. Got him. Across the 50 and to the 47-yard line. The pickup will be 10 yards and enough for the first down.
Nice little pattern for DeYager, and DeHaan is looking for him. He is the primary receiver. You can see him looking at him all the way. Had to spin around a little bit to catch the ball, but a nice gain and a first down.
That was Jim Mann who stopped him.
And Ted Rogers.
Brent Dalma to the left side along with DeYager. Looking for DeYager again. He can't get underneath it. That was the down and out and down pattern. Head out about 10 yards, fly to the sideline, then head up the sideline and mistimed on the arm of Craig DeHaan. And 2nd and 10 from the 47. 5:37 remaining in the half. DeHaan and Mazie are in the backfield. Here's Craig DeHaan, tucks it in to the line of scrimmage inside the 45. A pickup of 4 yards, and it's 3rd down. Steve Kramer caught up with him.
Nice little movement in the backfield there for the kids from Orange City. You know, there are a couple kids on this team, too, who are definitely going to play college football, and you can almost guess where they're going to do it. Northwestern is a fine football college.
Working out of the veer offense. Right side is DeJager. Left side is Dalma. Got his man again, DeJager. 6'5" senior brings it out, and up for the first down at the 32. Jim Mann stops him there.
Here we go, DeHaan, straight drop back. That's basically what they will do. Very little sprint out action. There's the pass over one of the Pointer defenders and right into the hands of his main man so far this afternoon. That was a good pass.
Hands up on top, Simon.
Craig DeHaan with Mazie and Brent DeHaan in the backfield. Going to the air again. Over the middle. Yes, indeed. Got his man. Brent Dalma inside the 5-yard line.
And the penalty flag.
28 yards.
This will be a roughing the passer, so forget about the penalty. Take a look at the catch. Dalma with a great one. There was a penalty flag in the backfield, but it will be against the Pointers. Roughing the passer.
Ron Chapman finally brought him down. You see the indication. Heck no. We'll take the ball down at the 4-yard line. 1st and goal.
Missed opportunities. Tell the story for Ted Rogers. A couple of turnovers cost him a couple of touchdowns, I think. And now all of a sudden they're staring 6 points for the other team right in the face.
DeJager to the left. Dalma to the right. 4-yard line, 1st and goal. DeHaan. Craig DeHaan. Brent DeHaan leading the way. Craig DeHaan tucks it in. And you got a 6-0 ball game.
Here's the fake on the handoff. He trips right there, regains his balance, just enough to fall into the end zone. Nice play and a good drive for Morris.
And to tee it up, Brett Dalma. 4 minutes and 8 seconds remain. And 7-0 is the count. DeHaan from 4 yards out. Let's take a look once again, Pat.
Ground level right here. Got by number 79, Doug Cook, who is normally an outstanding player and still is, but Mr. DeHaan still got into the end zone for 6 points. 7-zip in, I guarantee you, this isn't where Ted Rogers wants his pointers right now.
So Dalma on the conversion makes it 7-0, 4:08 remaining. And a sustained drive of 58 yards in 9 plays. The big hookup going from DeHaan to DeJager. Down to the 4-yard line and then the sprint into the end zone. And here's Dalma again. That's a look at Chris Wall.
I'll guarantee you this is something new for Center Point's first team. Sure, they have given up as many as 8 points in a game, but most of those points that they have given up came against the Center Point reserve. So this is something relatively new for the Pointer.
Alma will deliver deep. Jones is in the middle, flanking him. Well, we'll back up on that. It's Chris Wall in the middle, and Jones to his left. Mark Wade to his right. Jones at the 3. Oh, the pads are popping downstairs and out to the 25-yard line with a return of 22 yards is Kenny Jones.
You got to wonder, too, now with Kenny Jones fumbling the ball away twice as he has done, if he's going to be a little self-conscious about that and maybe think about that when he gets the football now. That could take away from some of his running. We'll have to wait and see.
Earlier this afternoon, Peyton Jourdain 20. Sanborn 14. 4 overtimes, and the Class A title goes to the Rockets of Peyton Jourdain. 1st and 10, Chris Wall. Out past the 30 to the 33-yard line. Shane Seege makes the stop. 2nd and 1. Pick up his 9. 3:10 and counting. That remains in first half play. Ooh. That was Wall smothered as he got the ball. Travis Smits. 6'2", 225, the senior. Just about dominates that side of the line, Pat Smits.
You gotta wonder what's going through Ted's mind.
Third and 2. The loss is 1 yard. From the wishbone, center point. Wall gets the first down.
Chris Wall averaging 117.5 yards a game. 1,292 yards on the ground this season. This is a fantastic year for the young man.
So the clock will factor in this as we wind down in half number 1. 7-0. Morris Orange City would like to keep it that way, and center point playing catch up. 1st and 10 to 36. Way upstairs, and he's got his man. Rick O'Brien gets underneath it, and the 6'1", 190-pound senior is finally stopped by Craig DeHaan. Here's the left-handed quarterback.
They say that Rick O'Brien might be one of the kids who can play college football, too. Man, Mullins laid it right in there against the double coverage on that play. That was a pretty pass. We told you Gordy McKinstry said he wanted to make center point throw. He might be taking that back right now.
Less than 2 minutes remains. 1st and 10. We're now in Morris Orange City territory. He did get rid of the ball. Indeed he did. That is Chris Wall, who battles his way, and credit the thinking of quarterback Bob Mullins, because he drew 4 defenders with him.
Here, now you'll see it. The handout goes right to Wall. Nice little run by Chris, too. Pounds into number 41 on the other side. That was Leon Brink. Carries him for a couple of yards. Now center point has it in good position now at about the 23.
Gain is 12 yards. 1st and 10, the 23. And a timeout right here. 1:48 remains. So the pass play. Bob Mullins to Rick O'Brien. And then the burst up the middle for Chris Wall. With center point in scoring position. You're thinking they're going to get at least 3 out of it. We'll have to wait and see. We know from letters we received from viewers that you enjoy the high school, college, and professional sporting events you see at Iowa Public Television. There are 35,000 Iowans who show their support for sports programming, plus cultural events, documentaries about Iowans, and other types of programs. They are friends of Iowa Public Television. You can join this group. If you aren't a member of Friends, Send your check for as little as $20 per year to Friends of Iowa Public Television. Post Office Box 1758, Des Moines, Iowa 50306. Every month you'll receive a complete program guide. You'll also show how much you appreciate your Iowa Public Television.
You started to say, Michael, that Center Point could maybe get at least 3 out of it. They don't kick. Center Point doesn't kick. They might have tried a field goal once or twice this year. They never kick an extra point. They run all the time.
1st and 10. There you go with the staggered count, and it's going to cost 5. There's Wes Olson getting the jump on the ball. And here's Peter Hansen. Spencer, Iowa, to mark it off.
A dead ball foul. Encroachment on White.
And we move to the 17-yard line. Around left end. That'll be Chris Wall, and he belts it down to the 12-yard line. Might be enough for the first down as Leon Brink brings him home. 1:36 remaining here in the first half. Let's take a look at Chris Wall.
Brink this time is going to come up and make the stop, but it looks like he's going to get just enough for the first down. There's Brink, number 41. You're going to have to measure.
It was 1st and 5. Compared to the first game, that's a mile, isn't it? A couple tight ones on the chains. That much.
That's tight. That's tight.
7-0 the score. To the left of your screen, wearing the white with purple trim, Maurice of Orange City. 10-1 into this one. 10th rated in the state. Number 1 in the black and gold. The Pointers from Center Point, 11-0. And trailing by 7 right here. Clock ticking away. We're at 1:30. Bob Mullins sets him down in the wishbone. Oh, Chris Wall to the 5-yard line. Line of scrimmage, the 13. He picks up 7.5, maybe 8. We'll mark it at the 6. Craig DeHaan gets credited for the stop.
That Center Point offensive line just becomes a bulldozer, just shoving everything in front of it forward.
We have our 3rd fumble of the ball game, and the question is, has Center Point lost it for the 3rd time? Nope. Watch what you call dodging bullets.
That would have been a true thorn in the side had they lost that one. Take a look at it again. They have no excuse. The ball can't be wet.
Actually picked up a yard. And the line of scrimmage, 2nd and goal from the 5-yard line. 50 seconds remain. Now tonight on Iowa Public Television, more football coming your way. The 4A title matchup. Sioux City Heelan, Lynn Meyer of Marion. And tomorrow we're going to go at it again. Starting at 11 o'clock, the 2A championship game. Algona-Garrigan against Cedar Rapids LaSalle. Immediately following the 3A championship game. Harlan and Pleasant Valley. 7-0. The Dutch leading the Pointers. Certainly hope you stay tuned for our halftime activities. Interesting videotape features, including a tribute to college wrestling as presented here at Iowa Public Television. And Larry Morgan. I have a interview guest from Upper Iowa, the head football coach, Steve Fickard. Steve came up with the greatest marketing plan in all of football, didn't he, Pat?
Well, it didn't exactly work this year, but by golly, they got some attention up there, didn't they?
You need football players, you take out a one-head, don't you? Second and goal. The ball goes to Chris Wall again. And let's see where it's marked. Third and goal, the 1 1/2 yard line. 31 seconds remain. Yes, indeed. Center point. Chris Wall, who clanked out most of the yardage in this drive, goes in from 1.5 yards. And a 7-6 ball game right here.
Chris just said, I'm going to stuff it right down their throat. Here goes the bulldozer. Turn it over. That's right. Punches it on in there. And I said before, center point doesn't kick. They'll go for 2.
Wall from 1 yard out. Going for 2. That's Mullen over the ball. Chris Wall again. Just like that, we got an 8-7 ball game. Let's take a look at the touchdown.
Here we go again. Straight handoff, nothing fancy. Right over the middle. That just echoes Ted Rogers' philosophy. Do a few things very well. Here's the extra point run. By golly, it was the same play, wasn't it?
Behind, Bill Neiman, left guard, and John Hines, left tackle. The center, Kevin Houck. That's what you call your bread and butter.
No doubt about it.
And Chris Wall goes in from 1 yard out, and then with the 2-pointer, and there are the numbers, 8-7. And the upper hand goes to center point in this one. 24 seconds remaining.
Let me tell you something about center point here. They're such a mature group of young kids. They haven't gotten excited all year. This is what Ted Rogers told me. When they clinched a spot in the playoffs, they didn't get excited. Ted Rogers said go out, shake their hands, and they go take a shower and go home. When they win their first playoff game against BCL, they didn't get excited. Against Riceville, 16-7, they still didn't get excited. He said finally, after they defeated Preston last Saturday, 40-7, they got a little bit excited. And he said, why did it take you so long to get so excited? And he said, and the kid said, Coach, this is where we were supposed to be. That's a good story, I think.
They knew it from the start of this season because they closed the '84 season with a loss to Pocahontas in a tight football game last year here at the Unidome. Hokie went home with that 1A trophy. And here you see center point leading the way in 1985, Morris Orange City ranking 10th.
Some good teams in there, Michael.
Set to kick off. Coach Ted Rogers is Bill Neiman.
He's an Upper Iowa grad. Maybe he can send some of his players up to Ficker.
That's right. The price of a one-ad, the price of a long-distance phone call. Gahan will let it bounce. He takes it at the 13. Hey, got some daylight. He gets out of bounds at the 41-yard line. Mark Wade to make the defensive stop on him. Well, let's see what happens. Gahan has shown that he can go upstairs. His favorite receivers are Rick O'Brien. Well, let me turn that around. Dan DeYager and Brent Alma. See what he does right here. He splits them both wide to the right. Dalma out of bounds at the 46-yard line. "13 yards is the gain." Kenny Jones sends him out of bounds with 11 seconds.
Well, that pass showed me that they want to do something here with the remaining 11 seconds. To see the scoreboard, folks. Probably see the piggy up in the air again.
First and 10. Not that time. That was Brett Talbot.
That's the proverbial hearing footsteps. That one went right through his hands.
Pass behind him, and it turned him into the player coming at him, and that's where he heard the footsteps. Back to the huddle, 87, Dan DeYager. 86, Brent Talma. Senior wide receivers. Second and 10. 46. Shotgun formation. Whoa! As time runs out, he uncorks. Well, you talk about scratching one out in the sand. Exactly what we had. Final play of the half, and Dr. McKinstry orders up a wild one. 8-7 here at the halftime break. Center Point against Maurice, Orange City. Class 1A championship game. Let's go downstairs, and here's Larry Morgan.
With Center Point coach Ted Rogers. Coach, only 8 points and a 1-point lead at the half. Nevertheless, you moved the ball awfully well. Were you happy with offensive execution?
We should have another touchdown. So I'm not very happy with our offensive execution at all. It's been very sloppy with the fumbles we've had and so forth. And we've got to straighten that out this second half and control the ball on them. They're too explosive.
Fumbles are something coaches can't control and usually don't have solutions for. Any theory as to what's causing the fumbles?
Just getting in a little bit of a hurry. You know, it's a big game. The tension's up, and they're just getting in a little bit of a hurry. Final question. Maurice Orange City has a large offensive line. Is this a concern to you? Not really. Ours aren't as small as they look. And theirs are tall, but not as maybe as big as they look, huh? Yeah, well, they're good boys, too. It's an even matchup. That's the coach of Center Point, Ted Rogers. His team up by 1 at the half. Let's go back upstairs.
Thank you, Larry, and thank you, Ted Rogers. That's the end of the first half.